Whoa. Welcome to MTZBWY with you, America's most favorite MTG podcast. I'm joined by the man who loves pie carts pie carts. Wow. All right. Y'all ready again?
I do love pie carts.
Yeah, we're rolling this.
Imagine pies on a cart delivered to my mouth.
MTZBWY loves cookie dough. Josh!
I got nothing else to say.
You might be more excited about pie charts than he is about cookie dough some days. I'll be honest. It's odd.
At least you watch. At least we know you watch his content now.
No.
And so
it was on the phone, and he sent it to me. That is not the same thing. And I
talked about it for 2 days.
For 2 days, child, please. Of course, joined by the man who has the beast under the hood. Show me your hair, Louis DeGeorge.
I do need a haircut. Look at this. This is ridiculous. That is too much hair.
Look at that.
Yeah. If only I could let George borrow some. And we are joined by George, who will be not in. You'll be in Boston. Your Harvard class starts.
I'm afraid of lying, so like there's a 50-50 chance I make it.
Yeah. George is teaching a class in Harvard next week. So we have a Harvard educator on our podcast. A Harvard professor? Is that what we call him?
No, that is definitely not what you have.
The Harvard
You specifically do not have that
on the podcast. So somehow start advertising this. The only Magic the Gathering podcast in the world with a Harvard professor. We are going to be talking about lots of Magic the Gathering things, including our predictions for 2023.
God, how do we have a crystal ball?
Which is I have one. It's on my shirt. See? Crystal ball.
Wow, Louis, where can they buy that shirt?
You can't. It was part of the MetaZoo bundle. We're going to talk about no cuts on Phyrexia. All will be one because there was one cut. I don't know. There's a line there somewhere. We're going to talk about Josh's pie charts and sales data because that's all Josh wants to talk about. A $10,000 sorcery sale we're going to talk about. Cryptic delays for Wave 2. And then I believe that is it on the podcast today. So let's hop in with our 2023 predictions. Who's starting this off? I started last time.
You are starting this off because no matter what, because here's what's going to happen. Josh is going to be like, Magic will survive next year, and you're going to yell at him.
All right, Magic.
This guy gets it. This guy gets it.
Magic will be fine. Magic's gonna do great next year. Wizards of the Coast that is gonna do great. My prediction for 2023 is that more stores are going to close in 2023 than any year since the early 2000s.
What a bold prediction. The trend will not break this year. It's a bold prediction heading into a recession. You're a brave man to have that kind of... you're a brave man.
Gosh, maybe I'm just a realist. Like, what am I supposed to do? Be some stupid prediction?
No, that's an obvious... Congratulate. I think the sun will rise tomorrow.
Okay.
I'm going to go on record. The sun will rise tomorrow.
So let me get this straight. No matter what I say, you're just going to criticize it. Because if I say
you can have a real prediction.
That is a real prediction. Let's be very clear. That is a real prediction.
God.
You just have a bone to pick with. No matter what somebody says, you pick a bone with it.
You have no right to say that after last week. You have lost that right. You turned in that card last week with Josh.
Yeah, I still hurt from your lashing you gave me.
You turned that one in last week, boss. I'm sorry, man.
Okay, so let me start this off for real then, because I think Louis gave a good prediction, but I want Louis to get a chance to go. Louis deserves a chance to go again after he was stepped on and beaten down by our Harvard professor or not professor. I can't
not
follow.
professor.
I have no idea what's going on.
He's a Harvard professor.
I think at the end of 2023, we're actually going to see a change to the draft set collector box structure. I think by the end of 2023, I've said this over and over again. Hasbro and Wizards of the Coast are both big companies, right? They don't make changes quickly. They don't move agilely. But at the end of the year, I think the community is pretty sick of this format, this layout. Sales data
I was just going to say, do you have a pie chart that you can use
I do.
to help us understand this better?
I do, and we will get into that, but I truly believe we're going to see a change to that structure. What say you, George, who has never agreed with anyone on this podcast?
Well, I agreed with Louis that more stores were closed this year. That was not my critique. I just think it's the equivalent of saying the sun will rise. So my prediction will be that
wait, that's not what we're asking. You're supposed to give some feedback to Josh's prediction. This isn't the George show. Like, we're having a conversation.
I mean, like, I think you're wrong.
Prediction.
Like,
there we go. There it is.
Like, the problem you guys have is that the 3-box model works. You just don't want it to. Like people, like the 3 boxes cover different people, and different people love the 3 boxes. Like just because it makes you cranky doesn't mean there's not a home for each one of those. And I think like at the end of the day, WotC sees that in the data you're about to show. And I don't know why they would possibly change it. Like the only box you could conceivably get rid of is the draft box, but like stores need that to, draft. So like that creates a problem.
So let me ask you, with the 3 box model, right? There's you said there's a home for every one of these boxes, and there's a group of consumers. And maybe this is a question for both you and Louis. You don't think that maybe, even though because the Magic community is so big, there's a home for every one of these products, it has spread the community a little bit thin, and there would be some benefits to maybe consolidating those groups, instead of into 3, into 2 somewhere. And that's going to take changes to the product. But what do you think?
I think both of your statements are pretty out there, pretty outlier. Like George, I think it's pretty bold to say that the collector box has been a success when you have collector boxes available for $110 of a like recent set, and Amazon dump of hold on, let me finish, and an Amazon dump of the second newest set for 20% lower than 10-15% lower than our distribution costs on Amazon. Like that's a bold statement to say that is in a success. I also think it's a bold statement to say that it's going away. I think that they will just have to make some radical changes to the print run in order to make it more of a inline success. With maybe they think everything's fine and they think it's completely okay to dump product on Amazon. That's probably the reality, is that they just don't care. But from our perspective, to see a solution to it, I think would just be lowering the print run to a one and done collector box type thing, more in line with like Throne of Eldraine collector boxes.
Okay. Listen, that doesn't sound too off the wall. It's not very content-y. It's like right down the middle and sounds really, middle of the road and intelligent.
That's what I'm known for.
Ugh. All right, George, you've wanted to pounce, baby, pounce.
No, like Louis stole my thunder as always. So my prediction is that they will massively overprint the first few sets because it's too late to change print run numbers. By the end of the year, they will fix their print run problems and they will go down. They will go back to the one wave. Of collectors, I also predict that they will kill the fat pack and bring in a different fat pack for every set. So it'll be like a complete bundle, a gift bundle, something like that. I also predict that they should go back to the fat pack wordage, but will not.
Agreed.
God, fat packs just sound so much better than bundle. Bundle sounds like a homeless man carries.
They definitely will not go back to the fat pack.
No,
I promise you, they will not do
that. We're not saying what they will do. Should they? They should go back to the fat pack. They can
we are team.
PH,
yeah,
dude.
we are team fat pack. We are team fat pack.
All right, Mark Rosewater's on. Get on this.
Listen.
You got to get a hold of him for us.
Don't. Why tee him up like that? Why?
I've got a line, but I'll hold it. You've got our permission for the fat pack. Maybe he's just waiting for his answer.
3 weeks into Magic content, I'm banned. Thanks.
It's great because I'm not convinced he has an and. That's my favorite part of this.
I don't know. It's just become a meme on the channel.
Sure has.
So I think it's interesting. All of us are saying that something will be cut or changed or whatever. George, the draft box. You say that you don't think that they can get rid of draft boxes. I've had a couple of stores. I did my video where I said I was cutting back on my pre-order for the new products. And I had a couple stores reach out and say that they are also cutting all of their draft boxes and that they are just over ordering pre-release kits and bundles and using the packs inside to do drafts. So in other words, instead of investing in a sealed box, they can have a pre-release kit. And then on the back end, if they run out, they're just buying stuff on Amazon at the new prices that is available on Amazon for draft boxes. I had like four stores comment about that they are no longer even pre-ordering or buying draft boxes. They're just going heavy on pre-release kits and bundles.
Now we know why more stores are going out of business this year than last year. Now I understand your prediction.
Why?
That makes a lot more sense to me now.
That confuses me too.
Because the cost per pack is far higher in a pre-release kit than a draft box. and it's far, far higher in a fat pack than a draft box. So if you're going to run a draft in a store, why would you over order the more expensive packs to crack them and give them to your customers versus just buying less draft boxes?
Well, if nobody is buying bundles, or if nobody's buying boxes and people are buying bundles, the risk is lower in that scenario, because
so that's the missing piece of the equation.
The list is lower. I'm not sure that the price per pack is significantly lower on your models.
It's only moderately lower. It would still be lower.
Yeah, I mean, your profit is lower, but your risk is also lower. Like your
do you really think stores have a harder time selling draft boxes and pre-release kits after pre-release week? That would surprise me.
Pre-release kits they're kind of juice, right?
Pre-release
like pre-release kits, yeah.
Pre-release kits, in my experience, anyway, are completely dead 2 weeks after pre-release.
Yeah, like
really?
Why would which is what I don't understand. Why would people over order pre-release kits versus just ordering draft boxes? That makes no sense.
Because if a set is successful, then the pre-release kits sell on pre-release week. There's always draft boxes available. You're not going to miss out on draft boxes.
But you get allocated. Like, you're not selling out of your pre-release kits on pre-release week?
Listen, I'm not those stores. I'm not saying that that's what I'm doing. I'm just saying, so I don't know all the details in that. But my guess is that
if you're one of those stores, slide into Louis DMs, who will tell me to reach out to you.
Keep in mind, it's also bundles, which are different.
Which makes even less sense. Like, I do not understand for the life of me, because that is way higher cost per pack.
I think it is pretty higher, a little bit higher. But I don't think it's way higher. Like, I don't think that statement's fair.
Let me propose something to you.
20-something% more.
I don't think that's true, but okay.
I want to propose something to you guys. I want to propose the inverse. And shout out to the homie Dennis. I was on a late night phone call talking about draft booster boxes with him. And he proposed the idea. I'm pretty sure this was his idea. Like, stop giving me pre-release packs and go back to doing just pre-releases out of the draft box.
What do you guys think? Last time they did that, though?
It was a long time ago. But what do you guys think about that? Instead of spreading these out, the stores don't have to make this decision for pre-release. They can order one product that's good for that weekend, but also can stay on their shelves and fill that need. Like, what do we think about that?
I'm a big fan of pre-release kits.
Are you?
Like,
okay.
I'm the guy. Well, I used to be the guy who would keep my pre-release deck together, and I had, like, on my shelf in my room all the pre-releases that I went to that had the deck still together. Like, that was cool. Me. Like, and then I could replay them, and, like, it was an experience. And the pre-release card was, like, something that I thought was really special to, like, remember the set. But that was back when we had 4 sets a year, and, like, you didn't have a new pre-release every 3 days. Sorry, parabolic. A new pre-release
hyperbolic
same difference every couple weeks, every month and a half.
I'm with you. I kept the pre-release cards sealed. They're in my binder. I have a pre-release sealed Yorion that then they banned and made me mad.
Classic. I just like the pre-release cards. I think it's cool to have the stamp. I love, like, nothing's more cool to me than buying a collection and getting, like, an old 2000 stamped pre-release card. Like, I think that is the coolest thing in the world. Like, it's special because of that little stamp of the date of the pre-release. And I hate that they, like, didn't they get rid of the date of pre-release now, and it's just the 2022 in the corner? I hate that. Like, put the date on it. Like,
they save on stamps. They only got to make one a year. But I listen, they could fulfill that need by going back to the promos, right? Like, I have Valacuts from a promo way back when I was still, like, running a store with my buddy, and we had a bunch of extra of these cards. I think they could go back to that model and just open draft box. So you do the pre-release out of draft boxes. Everyone who attends gets a special stamped promo for the pre-release, and everyone just gets the same one. I think that would be neat. I'm a fan of that.
Yeah, but the point being, like, they could get rid of draft boxes if they leaned into bundles and that kind of thing for draft. I don't see that happening. Like, I'm not saying that I see that happening. I'm just saying that
I don't know what the benefit of that would be. Like, what's the benefit in that?
Well, for Wizards, then, like, they have to print. It's probably more expensive than to even make the draft packs if they aren't doing boxes with packs already. It would greatly hinder the number of packs that they would be creating, which would probably change their printer pricing and stuff like that. But it's just an interesting take from other stores that are.
And also, the only way to get draft packs would be in bundles.
Yeah, bundles improve these kits.
Yeah, that would feel
yeah. I'm not
weird.
team
Maybe,
this.
Yeah, maybe it's no more draft box, and there's a product called a draft kit that only LGSs can order or something like that.
Yeah.
Who knows? It's interesting. I think it's more likely we get rid of the set box and we juice the draft box in some way. I don't think they can. They can't get rid of the set box. So we're going to get into that. But
hated your take on the get rid of the set boxes,
dude. I know that they can't, but like, it's more likely to get rid of the draft box, in my opinion.
I don't think they can get rid of any of the boxes at this point.
Maybe
I could see them say only based on external pricing and where the market is on these current boxes. I could see them getting rid of collector boxes if they say, I don't think it's going to happen, but if they say the market is not the way that we want it to be, we've ruined the price of foils. If that's how they feel, then I can.
They shouldn't feel that way.
Yeah.
Why?
Also, I don't know if they care about the price of
the foil multiplier is non-existent in cards.
Like they shouldn't feel that way at all. Like, I mean, Josh will tell you why in a minute about what percentage of boxes get pre-ordered. Yeah. But I mean, if you're looking at a box that failed, look elsewhere. It's not the collector box.
I think
you guys might not like it. That doesn't mean the product failed. It means you don't like it. And those are different statements.
This is my set box take, Louis. This one's off.
Yeah, that's fine.
You don't like it. That doesn't mean it's failed.
Okay.
Sure.
I'll let you have that.
I don't like you. You haven't failed yet.
Well, that's all debatable. That is all debatable.
Yeah.
So
I was talking to Josh, by the way. Continue.
I will continue to say that based on things like that, though. This is why
not liking Josh.
No, things like you feeling like the collector boxes are a success. If Wizards thinks that the collector boxes are a success, this is why my prediction holds true that we will see a significant number of stores close in 2023.
Nobody disagreed with that. Like that seemed congrats. I agree with you.
Okay.
Like he wasn't saying it. He wasn't saying anyone any disagreed with him. He was just explaining how he got to his.
It's a major deal. It's you're skimming over my take like it's not a major deal.
Well,
it's a major deal.
It's an obvious deal.
Like how shouldn't we have a dialogue about that as two people who own stores? Like I'm
dialogue
getting ready,
away, baby.
I'm getting
dialogue
ready to. I'm terrified. I'm getting ready to expand my store, like in the next 2 months. Meanwhile, I feel like everything's is crashing.
Then why are you expanding?
Yeah, then don't expand.
I have to. Like I have to either expand or die right now. That's where I am in my area and in our store. Like our store is growing to we have people who don't come in because the space is too small. So in order to grow at any past the beginner stage of a store, I have to have a bigger venue and a bigger space, and on top of that, a new demographic with video games and other things that we're adding to the store in order to grow.
That's a great idea, by the way, doing an esport arena with a.
Are people going to compete at esports in your game store, Louis?
Yeah, I have a partner. That won't be my side of the business.
That's
but
a great idea.
It'll be a bigger venue as a result of having two businesses inside of one, and then also I will move into additionally collectibles like retro games and probably not comics, but maybe some
DM
more.
Me later. I got a business name for you.
Is it Compete Sport? So help me God.
Compete Sport West Virginia? No, it's not. That would tie me to George.
This time with more meth.
Anything I can do to get away from George, I'm all in on.
Yeah, as you copy my business model exactly, identically.
I just don't want to get banned.
You were banned before me.
And stop talking about people's ants. Like that might have something to do with it.
So anyway, that's where I am.
And Mark Rose, what do we have on any other
Oh,
designer?
for sure. And I have been way harsher. I have been way harsher on Magic the Gathering than I have on any other TCG ever on this channel.
Dude, that's
my favorite Magic is when Louis calls me. I ask him what he fudded up on Magic today, and every time it's a negative video.
I have been frustrated by the negativity on my channel for Magic. That's where I am. I get up in the morning to make a video and I don't know how to. There's nothing. I don't feel like there's anything positive I can talk about. It's that frustrating right now.
That's not just you. I did a warning on my last video that I was about to give a piece of positivity about Wizards of the Coast and warn viewers if you're going to click away, do it right now because I'm about to say something nice.
Louis out.
Listen,
Louis saw that and left.
It is impossible to be
He
excited.
did say he only watched part of it.
Yes, he did. He was like,
it's
this is going to be
tough.
positive. I'm gone. I'm gone.
Like,
Not
listen,
worth it.
I know George disagrees with this, but in my opinion, I have a really hard time being excited to promote Magic the Gathering as a result of what I feel like I'm promoting is just Hasbro, some sort of large corporate thing. I don't feel like I'm even promoting at this point a community, because I don't see any support for the communities, like the local communities, when you
Like-
are competing with your business to business like things on Amazon and that kind of thing. It just makes me feel like it's not even
You know that happened before you started covering Magic, right? This
not
wasn't
at
news
this
to you.
level, dude. Not
It
at
was
this
exactly at
level.
this level.
No,
Nothing
it
changed
was
in the
not.
last 6 months. Nothing has changed in the last 6 months.
That's not true. That is not a true statement.
The only thing that's changed is one pack, which you guys have railed about for 6 months.
No, like,
That's it.
That is not.
That's it.
Okay. Dominaria United, the last set, George, that came out, a set that you pumped on this channel, would be a $300 box, mind you.
If
being
you're
sold
to
on
George for price
Amazon.
predictions- Wait, first of all, that was Josh. But more importantly,
No.
You bet
bud.
$300 box.
Yes,
You did.
if
You bet
let me be very
$300
clear
box.
here. If you're listening to me for price predictions on TCGs at this point, that's entirely on you.
You said it'd be a
like
$300
that's entirely
box.
on you at this point.
Also, if I were actually at a 1K.
You said
I'm in.
$300
I'm in.
is being sold for like $30 to $40 less than our costs on Amazon.
Louis, like that. Hey, like this. It lasted for 15 seconds.
It's
like
still
relax.
Up. It's still up.
Not. No, it's not.
Get your little fingers out.
Let's
Get your little fingers out.
Let's not do the finger thing.
Anyway.
So, Louis, if we're doing this, I want to kind of share with you my approach. And you said it best. You gave me this take. You gave me, if Wizards of the Coast and Hasbro make the worst decisions in the world, people are going to sit around and play kitchen table Magic, right? They're going to play games of Commander. They're going to do whatever it is that they're going to do, and they're going to interact with Magic. I have viewed it as it's my position now to express the way that I like interacting with the game and the things that I find interesting, and do that in a way that helps kind of get people interested in that as well. Me being in the space is not going to necessarily sell someone on it, but it might help someone who is also passionate about the game find a community of people that are also having fun and doing something they like, even when things are going poorly. And that doesn't mean you have to not talk about the things going poorly, but you should make sure you find the thing you enjoy in the swirling mist blossom of craziness, right?
Listen, if I just made the channel Kitchen Table, I think every day, why is my channel name Kitchen Table TCG? Why did I start an LGS? Like, what the hell was I thinking? I wake up every morning wondering that.
Feeling like P. Diddy.
My channel name is Kitchen Table TCG, and I started an LGS. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Maybe I should just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So that's fine. If the LGSs die, if my LGS dies, that's fine. It'll just die, and I'll just pivot to a business that is more on like, hey, here's a Kitchen Table TCG type thing. Like, that's fine. I'm not worried about that. But I think that the community needs game stores to thrive. I think it's a weird world for trading card games if there's not a thriving local scene.
I think it will, but I think we're seeing some and I don't, this isn't meant to sound cold, but I think we're seeing some regression to the mean, right? I think like everything in the economy, it expands past the point of stability and then contracts below the point of stability. Yeah. And I think we're going to contract below the point of stability and find somewhere in the middle here. And when so when
I talked to Josh today, a couple days ago, I told him that all these orders from distribution remind me of one thing: what life was like before COVID. This is what it was like before COVID. Like, this is you didn't even have a store. Shut up! Like, you're not shaking your head like you know. I mean, like, you had.
I didn't even have a channel.
Not you. Like, you had to This was what it was like. I mean, like, if a set was good, a set did well. If a set sucked, it bombed. I mean, that's the way it was. Like, it's only during this weird 2-year period where it didn't matter how good or bad sets were, they went to the moon. That's over. Like, I can't tell you the number of idiot business plans I got from stores be like, I'm going to open my store because I'm going to sell Pokemon boxes at $200 a box. No, you're not. You weren't. Like, we talked about this on this podcast 2 years ago. Like, the number of businesses I got saying, I'm going to sell Pokemon boxes at $200. I'm like, what happens when they're not? And they're like, well, no, it always will be. Why? They weren't like that for 20 years. Like, this is what life was like pre-COVID.
Sure. The Pokemon was. Pre-COVID, we didn't really have collector boxes and set boxes because the sets started like 6 months before COVID. That had
set
those.
Boxes started during COVID. Collector boxes started a little bit before.
A little bit before.
A little bit before.
Like,
yes. But like,
and we also, on top of that,
before.
we did not have Wizards pumping out on Amazon and direct to consumer. And on top of that, we didn't have 70 secret layers in 1 year. For 2 years in a row, we've had 70.
Like, what does secret? I don't get why secret. Like, I don't like secret layers, but like, nobody's not buying a box from me because they bought a secret layer. If you're buying a secret layer, you really like Magic and you're coming to buy boxes.
Secret layers.
I think it's got to pull some spend out of the pool. It's got to pull some amount of dollars.
Those are already hyper dedicated consumers.
It pulls a spend out, and it also gives distrust to singles prices and having any sort of accumulation of singles, because literally anything can be reprinted at literally any time. They just printed in Emrakul with the cereal box thing, and this random like $30. It's like the confidence in having any amount of Magic singles is just dead, both from a store perspective and a consumer's perspective. People are not holding on to their trade binders, and not holding on to anything like that.
Well, that's the big takeaway and the big prediction, right? This model looks much better if you can find a way, like we talked about last week, to have some kind of confidence in unique printing of cards in a set that will always remain unique. You know, whether it's a pseudo reserve list, whatever you want to call it. I'm not saying reserve list, George. Replace it with some of the words in your brain so you don't go off. But if you can find some way to say, hey, this is a unique version of this card that you can never see again, a unique art, then that might solve that problem. Right now secret layers seem to have a place. Maybe they offer much needed or cool alt art reprints, and you can still find single value.
When we get to your data, Josh, I want you all to remember this conversation, because the boxes are selling. Like, the boxes are selling very, very well.
Sure.
So, like, again, like, this just seems like a bunch of YouTubers being cranky at nothing. Like, that's all this is, folks. Like the boxes are selling fine. It's just like a couple people don't like collector boxes, a couple people don't like set boxes, and nobody likes Jeff Bezos.
I've taken a positive look at everything.
Not you.
You said a couple.
You have told me on the phone, George, that this is the first time that Magic boxes have been sold for less than cost on TCG Player, before fees and all that stuff. I don't
think that's true. I think Theros was.
Theros was
Beyond Death.
Within this window of time that we are talking about.
What window of time are you talking about? It's not that long ago. It's not like 1920s.
The last
it's not like back in the Great Depression.
So
Theros
obviously,
Beyond Death really came out.
All right, whatever.
Like, AFR was way below cost.
Let's move on.
AFR was like
AFR was
double feature was below
like
cost
a year ago.
We're living too far in the past for the prediction section, boys. Does anyone have one final like crazy prediction?
Louis will make a video every day about something that's wrong with Magic.
No. Do you have anything off the top of your head, Louis, that would be like a crazy prediction?
Oh, that was not a crazy prediction. That was a
I got one. If I'm putting you on the spot, and that's completely unfair. I'll let you think about it. My crazy prediction is we start to see more, and again, crazy, don't before George jumps on me. The not gonna happen prediction is that we start seeing secret layers pivot to a more frequently sold in WPN store model.
100%. I 100% think that's gonna happen.
I don't think there's a chance Wizards gives up that portion of revenue.
They're doing it for a drop next month. Yeah.
For a drop, but they did this in the past with I think it was the Pathways drop, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So they've done
those
this.
Those weren't great. Those could have used some work.
Right, but I'm saying they've done this before. I think it's going to be like before. They'll tease you with one, like, here you go, Game Store, and then it's back to Wizards. My crazy prediction is we're going to see like
I think you'll
go to
ready
you
for
guys.
what you could see, which would not shock me, is that if you have to order through WPN to get certain benefits of the secret layer. So like only the foil versions available at secret layer. You can get the regular version at the website.
Oh, so only the foil version is available at the WPN game store.
Yeah.
The regular. I just, again, I can't see them.
I think that could happen.
I mean, revenue for free. I could see it. I just
like they increased our promos, our store promos for Phyrexia. I think they're trying to do what they can do. I think they're going to give us. I think we're getting some extra boxes for Dominaria Remastered. You got a bump too, Boo Boo. Relaxed. You got extra promos too. I promise.
Bump it up.
I don't care about getting the extra promos. Wizards doing everything they can to do for the LGS is the words that you just said.
I knew you.
That's the words you just said.
They're doing what they can. Like I don't know what you want them to do.
They're not doing what they can. Like that's.
They could sell all secret layers through WPS.
Everyone,
stores.
That is George's take. If you care about this podcast, please leave a comment about that take in the comment section. Okay,
I agree.
Let's move on. I
want to say my prediction, my wild prediction.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if you wanted to. Your eyes said no. Please no. Please God no.
200 secret layers in 2023.
Wow, that would be bonkers. There's not a chance. That would be crazy. That would be crazy. Louis, what is that? That is parabolic.
Nope. Is it? That's
hyperbolic.
Only roughly double what the secret layers were this year.
So weren't there 70 this year?
There were 78 or something so far.
So it's like triple.
Closer to triple. That's fair.
A lot closer to triple. Guess we're on the same page.
That would be
200
wild.
secret layers.
Wild, bro. All right, stamp it. Come back. Revisit this
3,000 secret layers. There will be 10. There will be 100 day every day. They will all be from the reserve list in all different all different.
I was gonna go with they reprint cards in the reserve list, like in actual set, but I'm not going.
Oh, that'll be my wild prediction.
You want to take George's?
Nope. Ready for my wild prediction?
Yeah.
They double down a reserve list and they say they won't ever print them again.
I agree. That's a fair take. Yeah.
And Josh is very happy because he hates players, and I am very unhappy because I like players.
God, you figured it out.
Let's go with New Phyrexia. So, New Phyrexia is it? No, Phyrexia all would be one. What is New Phyrexia was already a set.
Yeah. If you didn't put on the screen no cuts, no butts, no coconuts, I'm upset with you.
Well, I don't want that to happen.
Come on, that's a good one. So you guys are the ones that inform me, as people who sit behind the desk and get to order from distribution, that you were not cut. That stores
I had to figure out how to
cut.
spell coconuts live.
That stores
could be
are
worse.
not.
You could ask you to leave something
on the Phyrexian set. How do you feel about this, being the two bozos who predicted the era of cuts was coming to an end?
All right,
we predict that, or did we just say that because we knew?
No, I mean like. I
was giving you credit, but yeah, fine.
I ordered less of the set, thinking I wouldn't get caught.
Yeah, I ordered way less of the set, like knowing that I want to get.
I figured I wasn't going to get caught. I mean, like I think, like listen, I think I don't think I'll get cut this year.
Really?
You don't think you're going to cut all of
in
2023?
On standard product release or
on any product?
Magic?
I disagree with any product.
I don't think any product.
Well, so like it depends on if Wizards adjust or not.
Remastered.
Yeah, the big stores didn't get cut on Dominaria Remastered. Thank God the small stores like me got cut on Dominaria Remastered.
You were too. So I was too all in, baby.
I was all in on Dominaria Remastered before they like came out with the like everything, and then I called my rep and I like a day after after orders were due, I asked to have him to cut me way back down. He's like, we'll figure it out on release. And then we got allocations. I was like, oh, thank God, we don't even have to figure it out. I got cut. But I cut my Phyrexia down to like a couple cases of everything, which is way down for me. Because I don't want to have any sealed. I don't want to hold any product. I want to be out of product release and have one or two boxes to sell packs from on the shelf for the week or two after, and then I'll just restock a couple boxes a week. That's like there's no sense in any of this anymore.
I suspect you won't be able to restock this set collector boxes, is my gut.
I think you will. I think it's too soon.
You
to
have
make that
said
pivot.
that about every set since we
true.
started this Magic podcast.
It's been true about half of them. It's been true about Brothers of War.
I'm shooting 50%, baby.
It's been true about Brothers of War. It's not been true about
Brothers War so far.
Brothers War's a weird
like
one,
that's
man.
I guess that's true. I guess this would be very late for a reprint at this point.
Yeah,
this
Brothers War's a weird
late.
one, and I don't know if the serialized cards throw a wrinkle in the
very
reprint.
late.
Okay, we've talked about the serial cards bit about this every podcast. We're not doing that again. It wouldn't be that late compared to like Kamigawa's restock.
That's true, but like
Kamigawa's restock was like 6 months.
No, it wasn't 6 months.
Not 6 months. It was a couple.
But they also said it was coming, and they did not say that about this.
Yeah, I know.
Like Distro said it was coming, and like they have not said about this set.
I think mostly it means that consumers, just like you guys, have to change how they interact with this. I'm tracking pre-sale data for a lot of
set, not a standard.
Phyrexia.
Special sets don't get the same number of reprints.
Phyrexia?
You're talking about Dominaria Remastered.
We're talking about Phyrexia.
We're talking about
we're not talking about like I would say you couldn't reorder. I was talking about Dominaria Remastered. I'm sorry. Oh, for Phyrexia, you'll absolutely have a reprint of the collector boxes, I suspect.
Yes, I think we're all on board with that. But what I was saying is this is going to change how consumers interact with pre-orders and pre-release, and I'm excited as someone who's now tracking all this crap. I'm excited to see do the numbers follow that, right? Like, there's no need to pre-order anymore from a we will run out standpoint, right? You can kind of wait for product to go down and then get it whenever you need to. Don't you think that's the case? Wouldn't if you were just a consumer? I'm not saying tell your customers not to pre-order, but do you see there's less incentive to put that pre-order in?
I think if you're not opening the product on release day, and if you, I think you have to ask the question: what does the consumer want to do with cards?
Like, yeah, if you want it that day, then yeah, I guess.
I know very, very, very few people who open up boxes to get the specific card that they want. The majority of people I know have taken the singles approach to say, I'm going to wait until 2 weeks after to buy the singles when prices dip. And that's what the majority of, in my opinion, consumers do. Maybe if they go to a pre-release, they can trade for the card they want using the cards that they have. And then people who do buy boxes will buy a box at pre-release. They will open it. The majority of the people who do that, in my opinion, have some avenues of getting rid of cards, whether that be trading or selling on like a marketplace. That they nobody is collecting a set. Nobody is playing standard in paper. So they are buying one box, maybe just to have the opening experience, but they're not really searching for anything other than, maybe I get lucky.
George, and you called it too. There's more people that I counted on that are just opening packs, and the number of set boxes sold and everything shows that, right? Like set boxes, I could see being high priority for pre-sale because it is those people. It's the people that want to crack the packs on release day and they're paying for that experience.
Of course. I mean, like, that is what it means to buy a Magic box, is to crack the box. Like, if not, what are we doing here?
Yes.
Like, I don't get the point of this. If it's like, I don't understand the point of like why we're selling boxes if you're not going to crack them, I guess.
Well,
yeah. I think most people who do seal collecting are not buying from an LGS.
No, why would you?
Yeah, you would not.
Like, the only people who buy from LGS are if you like have an in. If you're like, hey man, can I get 2 cases of every set forever?
You're right, and it's cheaper, not what the LGS is charging on the shelf.
Right. I mean, people want to crack boxes on release day.
Yeah,
it's fun.
Yeah. Like that's a good reason to pre-order, but I wonder if we'll hit a point where on release day I'll be able to go into the store and no matter how pre-release went, I can pick up any product that I want. Unless an outlier being I'm pre-ordering 4 cases, right?
I will say like a lot of the stores near me ran out of Brothers of War. That was for you. Set boxes pretty quickly. Which caught me off guard. We had a ton. But I overorder. But like Brothers set boxes sold out locally pretty quickly at some competitors. I tend to think that's stupid on Wizards' part, to be candid. Like, I think they should probably, like, for the first 6 months, every box should be available. like from distribution. Like there's no reason to have set boxes be sold out of distribution for the first 6 months.
Sure.
Like you want people to have access to boxes and access to cards.
Yes.
Yeah. I think some sort of allocation on release based on like WPN numbers and that kind of thing makes sense.
Sure.
To allow the market to absorb things, and then stores can then reorder if the market is hot. They can reorder on things. But yeah,
that's roughly how it goes. I mean, that's roughly how it goes.
I would have gotten. I think I would have gotten pretty much anything I ordered of Phyrexia based on what I've heard from other stores who didn't change their orders. Like Phyrexia was like
I don't think there were any cuts in Phyrexia.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like it would have been whatever I ordered, which would have been wild.
Yeah, there was no cuts, but I also hear stores changing their strategy. I mean, I work closely with a couple different stores, so I know that a couple of them are changing their strategy about how they're ordering this set, right? It's how much they're going to offer for pre-order and how much they're just going to keep on the shelf and what they're going to do with the product.
And I, again, like this just goes back to like pre-COVID stuff. It's just like you would never think I'm going to shove this into my back office for 6 months and watch the price skyrocket. That wasn't a thing before COVID.
Yeah.
Like that only existed for 2 glorious, amazing, horrific years. like what was terrible for the world saved your LGS.
X to 1K.
Like it was like no matter what garbage any of these companies put out, it went to the moon. It was amazing. Yep. Except for Battle Styles randomly. Like that's the one. That's the one that COVID could not save.
George's bathroom full of Battle Styles.
Yeah. And it still won't go up. It still won't go up. How is this possible?
It's amazing. Chilling Reign's going up. It's amazing.
Everything. Every product from every game is going up except for Battle Styles.
Oh no.
And me. In Modern Horizons 2. So I mean, like, this is what it was like. Like, you couldn't just put stuff away and it would double in price in 3 months. That didn't happen before COVID. That won't happen now for a while. Hopefully, to be candid, we never see that again because it means something terrible has happened to the world again. And it's probably, love your LGS, probably not enough to have a bunch of dead bodies. I'm gonna go have that hot take. I'll have that hot take. Not worth it.
So no cuts. I think Phyrexia.
Louis not taking a stand on that one. I hope you all noticed that. Louis being like, maybe it is.
That with a 10
moving on.
Louis, I'm not touching that with your channel. Okay.
I hate talking about COVID.
It's a no-win situation.
I think also one of the things this set is struggling with from a pre-order standpoint is that Dominaria Remastered is taking up a lot of the attention, and this is like, it seems like it's just so close together in terms of the attention, and there's just so much product. There's so many sets. There's so many cards. Like we're in spoiler season for a set, and there's not even a set out yet before that. So I think that set is gonna get hamstrung by that a little bit in terms of sales, but it'll be interesting.
So it might feel that way. They're less. It's even. Sorry, the point I'm trying to make is it might feel that way because it is. Their sets are less than a month apart. I had to check my math on that, but I think it's January 13th for Dominaria Remastered, right? Mm-hmm. And then I looked up February 10th for Phyrexia. So it's not just like it feels like they are, man. It is. They're less than a month apart.
Is that pre-release or is that release?
I think that's the release date.
Wow. So it's 2 weeks for pre-release.
Yeah. We now have a precise release date for MTG Phyrexia All B1. It's coming out February 10th, according to wargamer.com on December 21st.
Interesting. So yeah, anyway, wild. I wish it wasn't so tightly together, but we've talked about that a million times on the podcast. So all right, moving on. I want to hear all about Josh's sales data.
Well, we talked about pre-release, and this is something that's super interesting. We're going to find out. So I took the time, and there's a video on my channel about this right now. I built a tool and tracked from TCG Player every sealed box of the Brothers War ever sold on TCG.
Brothers of War?
Yes. The Brothers of War, all of them. Anything that was wrapped in plastic, a complete sealed box, and sold. And some of the stuff here blew my mind. And we were talking about the allocations earlier and how what the community is buying, what boxes are going away. And this is the first, I don't know if you guys have the chart pulled up. This is where I first realized that my set box take, it might not just be the YouTube comment section that doesn't like my set box take. That is the most purchased in numbers Brothers
Shocking.
War sealed product from TCG Player. And it's astounding. It's crazy.
Never would have guessed it.
I know TCG Player's not like the sealed capital of the world.
Yep.
It's baffling to me how low the sales numbers are.
So, and I think that has...
Is it $1 million in Brothers of War already?
Yes.
Yeah. Like the
That's
number of
bafflingly
boxes,
low to you?
the number of boxes sold is baffling low to me. How do you have 50 million people playing the game? Or sorry, I guess the number is 50 million people have played. But
I think it's 20 million players or something like that was the estimate.
And the probably still largest sales of maybe eBay's larger, maybe
Amazon.
So
you can't rail about Amazon, then forget it at its most important moment.
But okay, but let's not get down the rabbit hole here. I think there's a couple things that are important. Louis, you said it here first.
Will you choose a side on the Amazon thing?
Wait, right. I don't like Amazon, but to ignore that they're the biggest seller of Magic is kind of foolish.
Okay.
However, I did buy some Amazon stock this week, so it'll go down.
Go, Josh.
And you're just shilling to pump your own bags.
Like
Amazon to the moon.
Amazon.
Amazon to 1K.
I figured it's the cheapest way to get into extra WotC stock is just to buy Amazon stock. That was for you, Louis. I just bought it because they carry Magic, okay?
I think
nothing else matters.
You're right. TCG Player is not the place where you're going to see the largest portion of sealed products sold, and Magic being in every LGS, let's call it, if not the vast majority of LGSs, has a lot more footprint than some of these other indie TCGs will off TCG Player. But this is interesting as far as a spend breakdown. The one piece of this data that I think could be skewed because it's an online platform is the draft box, right? Because we talked about what do you buy the draft box for? It's really only to play the game. It doesn't really seem like you buy that on a digital platform and get it and find a way to play the game. So that feels like it could be skewed.
Josh is trying to justify his previous take. I think a bigger argument for you, Josh, is that it's a pain to ship draft boxes.
That's not what I care about. Here's what I want to know. What 283 of you poor bastards bought Jumpstart?
So
Dominaria Jumpstart.
Shout out George. You got a shout out in the video that you don't watch because you convinced me to do Jumpstart and bundles. I was going to leave them off this chart, and you convinced me.
Yeah, I'm serious about this. If you bought a Jumpstart box, a Dominaria, not a real Jumpstart, a fake Jumpstart box on TCG Player, I am begging you, put in the comments section why. I am desperately curious what those 283 people saw in that box and said, like, damn, I want some of that action.
So, okay, Louis, you seeing this for the first time. What jumps out to you aside from the number of boxes? I did say that number is low. Like, that number feels low, but a TCG Player is the place for singles, not necessarily for sealed product.
So on Jumpstart, I think one of the takes here is like you're talking about who ordered Jumpstart, but the Jumpstart average box price sold based on your numbers is $49.
Here's my question to you,
which is
$30 overpriced.
Will you let me finish a take?
That is $30 overpriced.
$49, which is like I'm doing rough percentages because I can't say distribution costs in my head, but like 30% lower than our costs at distribution. Our cost is somewhere between $60 and $70. And
shout out to the store that sold 2 at $99.95 early pre-order.
Yeah. Like I think like
okay, if you bought them at $99.95, put in the comment section how you feel about your life.
Listen, I'll tell you, I have been selling all of my Jumpstart from Dominaria and Brothers War because I'm an idiot and forgot to cancel my pre-order for Brothers War. on eBay at $45 to $50 just because like I don't want to store it. It's worthless.
It's
Nobody
worthless.
wants it.
Yeah.
So
No,
like
and,
I put it up on eBay for $60 and I've accepted literally any offers that anybody has given. Like
other funny
$28.
$20 jumpstart. You
Yeah.
heard it here first.
Take it.
Absolute.
I
Is
don't care.
perpetually worthless. That's gonna be the other problem. Is like no matter what, in 20 years, you're gonna have chaff from Brothers of War.
Yeah.
Like,
And so like
what?
I,
Chilly rain.
It's like, I mean, I like it is like I like listen. I'll defend Watts when they deserve defending, because apparently I'm the only one that will. But like God, they do not deserve defending on the new jump starts. Like it is remarkably stupid.
but Josh, like I would encourage you to put the average price sold of a box because like the average price sold for collector boxes is 200. Is that right? $213.
That's
Yeah.
about right.
$213. And it's like for your viewers, it's like, man, look at the average sold listing of these boxes and don't pre-order because you're gonna get wrecked. This is Brothers War, which is what you guys are saying is the best collector box ever printed. It's got serialized cards. It's amazing. And the average price is $213.
It's $215. The average price per box, as if you bought a single box, is $215. The average price if you brought a case is down to $208.81. So I have those numbers. They're just separated based on how you purchase the product. You purchase it by the box or by the case.
So, yeah, that the data is it's super interesting to me.
Look at the collector box spend. This is why I don't know if I can agree with your earlier take about collector boxes not working. 55.6% of all money that came in on TCG Player for sealed product for the Brothers War went to collector boxes. Like we're showing as a community, we're willing to spend. Like we're willing to spend for these products.
Shocking. Never could have predicted that.
Listen, I'm not saying they're not like successful from Wizards' standpoint. Like,
well, but they're successful. They're successful from our standpoint because we're still buying them, right?
I guess sure.
Like, who are they not successful for?
I guess like I just don't understand how your collector product is the number one selling product.
It's not. So set product is the number one selling product. Collector product is the number one earning product.
Okay.
That's different. Right?
God.
Yeah.
Josh, please be more negative. Continue, Josh.
No, like, I just like there's nothing collectible about it is my point.
Sure,
I
but
think that
we talked about people who like opening packs. It's shiny. It's fun. There's things you chase. People like that.
Yeah, okay. I'm just wrong. Like I'm just wrong. That's fine. Like I'm like that's fine.
I'm hoping the chart is here. If the chart's not here on the video, this movement is not.
I found my ringtone.
Like, I just don't. For me as a consumer, I look at that and I say I just have no interest in it. I have no interest in a collector's product that is as readily available as any other product and doesn't hold when you open it no real premium. It's more expensive. And you get equal value, like really equal value out of it. You don't get, in this case, you get serialized cards, which I think in this case, there's that big difference. I just don't see to me, it doesn't scratch the itch that like Throne of Eldraine did. The original idea of this product was to get really cool cards that you couldn't get elsewhere. And like now it's like, okay, I'm going to get this really cool. Let's assume they do some sort of really cool Phyrexian thing in Phyrexia. I guess we already know they're going to do some really cool Phyrexia thing. Okay, but like in a year, you're just going to do a secret layer that's going to be something cooler. Like there's not anything that's like really. Well, that's my point with the collector.
As long as it's different, right? I'll leave it up to because that's subjective, right? If it's cooler, right? That's
no
completely
matter what
subjective.
happens, it's all gonna fail and go to zero.
And that's not what I'm saying.
All sucks.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying for me, it's no longer a product for me. Like it's no longer a product that I'm excited about opening or having, with the exception of pulling the serialized cards. That was kind of cool. I just think like they are, in my mind, they are losing the collector's attitude of excitement about the game as a result of just like I used to get excited about pulling a foil common. Like I would open up a booster box and get a foil common and be like, oh my gosh, cool. A foil card that's really cool. Like, I love that. I'm just old. I'm just a boomer. Like,
boomer, relax.
I agree with you, but this is the same feedback you gave me about things that I've talked about that I don't like set boxes and Commander, right? And I have to accept, I think you said it here, so to your credit, we're just wrong. And one of the whole goals of this project on my channel and as a company going forward is I want to be able to identify when I'm talking about something that I feel and when I'm talking about something that matches how the community is reacting. And here it shows you, listen, man, the community's spending its money on this product. They like this product. They want this product. Whether you like it or not, this is where the money is going. Over $1 million worth. Like, this is how it's broken down.
Yeah, I would love to see this data. The problem is, like, the data is isolated. And I think as you go, your series will get even better because you'll have all this data. I would love to see player numbers now in this data compared to player numbers in 2018 and the data from, what was that, Throne of Eldraine? Or
sure, but we have to work with what they give us, right?
I know. I'm just saying, like, in my mind, yes, the current consumer is excited about or buys collector boxes
and set boxes,
but how many consumers are saying, I'm just not going to buy anything? I'm just going to go collect old Magic.
Like, listen, we're going to find out, because as I'm doing this for every Magic set that is released, and I'll be tracking it for up to 1 year, adding sales data to these as it comes in up to 1 year. So we will see that.
Yeah.
But
where can I find this amazing data, Josh?
You can find it at youtube.com/HometownTCG.
Can I get it like behind like a Patreon wall so I can get the access to the data even easier or something like that?
It's not there. It's not there yet. I want to finish most of the stuff.
I'll plug it later. Remind me
if you don't do a collection tracker, you're dead to me.
You have
to do a collection tracker, and you have to do an EV video for every set every day.
Gosh darn it! Let me get out my Wizards positivity take. I want to feel like George.
Please quit your job and make it like your whole life. Please
tell me it's my last chance to ever buy a collector box. Look into the camera and tell me it will never be the cheap again. You'll never have the opportunity to buy a card again.
I'm on to 1K. So I think what's interesting, the positive take here is Wizards is seeing that the community is spending the majority of its money on collector and set product with these standard sets. And if we look back to the last couple sets, the most care and tweaking and things that they're trying to throw in and make it exciting has been done to the collector and set product. So I think Wizards deserves a little credit for knowing what its consumers spend money on and then putting a ton of effort into that product. That doesn't mean it's sold for a great price.
Hard.
And it's great.
So hard.
Listen,
I don't like being mean to Josh because I love him so much.
Listen, they just are. They just are.
Do you want feedback or do you not want feedback?
I want to give him feedback, Louis.
You can criticize all you want. I'm correct.
You can't take any statements out of Brothers War sales data for collector boxes, because you're not comparing it to Dominaria United or New Capenna or any of the other boxes that have regular set. This is the only set that has serialized collector boxes, like serialized cards and collector boxes. Your data will be...
Before you were like ragging on serialized cards for 2 months. They won't affect EV. Nobody will care. They're all garbage.
And now you're like, that is not what I said. It's not what I said. Not what I said. Not even a little bit what I said.
Did you say it like this? Everything you said, you say it like this?
Not even a little bit what I said. I said it won't affect EV, which it hasn't affected the EV. I said that it won't affect... No, I said Legends cards won't affect EV. That's what I said.
You did say that.
You did both.
No, I didn't.
I don't remember. I don't remember the serialized cards.
Why on earth, George?
$50.
Hey, Booby, why on earth would I ever open up all my collector boxes to get serialized cards?
Because you're a lunatic. Because you're a lunatic. That was the dumbest thing you've done, and it broke your spirit.
Keep putting words in my mouth.
I want your content back from before Brothers of War. That's all I want.
It's just Brothers of War.
I want the pre-Brothers of War Louis back.
My content now is doing way better than my
I know people love anger. That doesn't mean you should give into it.
I think that this data will be
You're on the dark side, Anakin.
I think this data will be super interesting once we have more releases. I think it's too early to take this and say collector boxes are a major success. I do think you're right. Like in this case, Brothers War collector boxes are a big success.
That was the statement. I didn't say collector box. I said these collector boxes are a success.
Okay, great. Then I think.
Well, don't say you can't say collector because I did. I said exactly what you said I should say.
I feel like we talked a little bit more than just Brothers War in this conversation, but that's okay. It's all right. Yeah, this is great. It's great data.
The sheet's called Brothers War sales data. And if it wasn't on the screen, I'm mad and sad.
Do we want to talk about what this means for new TCGs as we transition to the new TCG section? Because you also did Dynasty.
I did. So as this kind of puts new TCGs in a big perspective. I think any indie TCG has to realize that the big three pull a huge share of the market, like an obnoxiously huge share of the market.
Yeah. The data, for those of you who aren't watching the show, because we have this on the screen, total boxes of Dynasty, which is Flesh and Blood's newest set, is 1,400. Cases is 932. Total.
Those are boxes sold as cases.
Yeah.
That's the breakdown. Yeah.
Let's just go with that number. Total boxes sold is 1,403. That includes cases, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then total spend is 122,000. Which one, obviously, when you compare that, is not just over 10% of the Brothers War sales data.
The Brothers War sales, but if you look at the last sheet where it's Dominaria Remastered pre-orders, that's where it really gets interesting, because you have this premium set coming out, and pre-orders with 17 days as of the making of this set of data has almost tripled, most indie TCGs average sales for a set. So these indie TCGs, and even successful ones, need to know that the big three are working in a weird plane.
And this is where print runs need to be hammered in, and
that's
really fashioned. Really,
that is a great message to indie TCG creators. It has to matter. It can not matter to Magic. It must matter to you.
And as consumers, I think this is where I get really worried about indie TCGs and LGSs shutting down with my predictions of 2023. Indie TCGs need the LGSs, in my opinion, more than the LGSs need the indie TCGs. And so
I think that's fair.
When you see data like this, it kind of shows that, in my opinion, how much the LGSs are helping the indie TCGs.
Sure.
And so, it's a thing for consumers to just think about. So,
look, they're not missing it. Look at MetaZoo and Mike cutting the print run and making the announcement that they're doing it, right? We're seeing this data. We're making this claim. These people running these they've figured that out. Mike was, very open and loud about that, saying, hey, we cut our print run because it needed to be done. And this data speaks to that. That was something that needed to happen. So I think seeing that's the benefit. We talked Wizards can't pivot as fast, these indie TCGs, and again, MetaZoo's an example here, cutting that print run and saying, hey, we realize this isn't going to work. We're able to make the pivot. We're able to make the cut. I think that's important.
What was map for Dynasty? Do you remember?
Oh, 80 some. I don't know, to be honest with you. I don't own a store.
I think it was 88. Which means this is the average price sold is below map too. It's just
yes. Well, and remember those with smaller data sets like these indie TCGs, you're going to see that a lot of the pre-sale prices that came in, because again, these indie TCGs with smaller communities, a lot of the sales are going to be pre-sales. That'll be above map. You're going to see now more sales. If you go to the individual sheet that shows each sale that's ever happened, you'll see that they are selling kind of below that map number. But I don't think that's important.
It's only important because the TCGs put the map pricing out,
right? And
they say that it's important. I'm not
sure TCGs that put map prices. I don't think that's important as far as a community or even a store carrying the game. I think you worry when it's a Magic. An indie TCG
it's important.
Can't have a Magic situation.
It's
right?
important as a store because you're then not even able to sell the box. When a Magic tank set sucks. And you're
not supposed to be able to sell the box. I feel like
you can't advertise it. You get an email if you have it listed saying that you'll get banned from selling the product. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Listen,
That's
one of the people on this podcast who's might be talking right now maybe ordered a lot of My Hero Academia at one point and had to get rid of the product and had to sell it. So maybe got a lot of emails.
Oh my God, I bought your My Hero. I'm a dumpy.
So anyway.
No, I think it's interesting to put those two side by side and remember, like, hey, even successful indie TCGs, stuff like MetaZoo, stuff like Fab, it's like you have to know the sandbox you're playing in, and you have to play to your advantage, which I think is that agility and ability to make those decisions and pivot.
Yeah. Okay, let's transition to the indie TCGs. Sorcery this week, massive. I
have
wild.
For this.
What is it?
Sell me a sorcery card. Sell me a sorcery card right now. Sell it to me.
I got some samples.
George, sell it to me.
George, do you have any sorcery samples? No. A sorcery sample card this week. This is kind of the big conversation of the sorcery community. Was a predestination, which so basically they sent out, which is I think a really cool thing that they did. They sent out my understanding.
Why you think that?
No, I don't have any of this. I didn't get any of them.
Oh, I thought you got. Never mind. I take it back.
No.
I thought I was like, I would think that too if I had a shiny thing on the shelf.
Listen, I missed this. I was refreshing like 6 different browsers trying to get my sorcery pledge, and I missed the one that came with the sample pack.
Dang.
But they sent out previous to Christmas, I believe. Again, I've only heard rumblings of this, and then we have the evidence in like auctions like this.
Bruno got the pack.
No, see, like Bruno, shout out to Bruno. I got a message from him. Hold on. No, he got he doesn't know what it is because he's on vacation.
Yeah, but I mean,
he got
what would it be?
I was messaging today. He's like, I don't even think I got I got in early enough to get a sample.
Thing is, like Bruno, and like frankly, if you don't like Bruno, that's on you. You're a bad person if you don't like Bruno.
Great take.
He was like,
Bruno and Stacks and
like,
Ice 9.
He said, unless I got lucky and somebody dropped one and he just like happened to be on at that time and got lucky. Anyway, other people also have told me that they have received sample packs early, and so they sent out sample. My understanding, again, this is. I didn't do this. Like I didn't myself get
it's all wild speculation, but that's okay. That's what we're here for.
Is that they sent out the sample packs, some of the sample packs, or a number of sample packs early to some of the backers or all the backers, I don't know, who were supposed to get sample packs in their pledge, previous to Christmas, whatever. So a couple of people opened them, and now that some of them are finding their way into the amazing collector art house. For shout out to Mike over there who's running that and runs a bunch of these auctions. And Predestination is the card that's sold, and you're like, wow, that's wild. Now not all these cards are selling for this high of a price. This one is very important because it is a unique, which is a high rarity, and then it is also a card that is not included in the alpha print of the game. It's a sample card that was then nixed and not included in the alpha print of the game.
Ooh.
Yeah, so that's like
you didn't
why.
Say a price yet? I don't think.
Oh, it's up on the screen. $10,100.
Come on, Josh.
We have audio listeners.
Yeah, so it's sold for $10,100, which is crazy. And there's a couple of people bidding at that kind of higher price point. So really that's wild. Definitely something that's caused a lot of conversation in the community of just. Simply put, there's high-end collectors in the market that are willing to spend that amount of money for a card, which obviously George and I have talked, there's pros and cons to like sales like this. Obviously like it shows that there's, go ahead, George, say your cons to this.
No, I mean, like I will say about this what I said about Cryptic.
Yeah,
what goes up must come down, and the come down gets ugly. And like, listen, Cryptic prices are probably, the high end Cryptic prices are probably half of its peak from where it was at the tippy top. And like, frankly, the prices today make a lot more sense. And I think Tanner would agree with that. Like, I'm not bashing on the prices. Like the prices today make a lot more sense.
You also have to say though that like the prices at that point were part of your COVID bubble type conversation that you've been having on the channel.
Is that true? I think it was before. I think it was after that, but I don't know. I mean, it doesn't matter. I mean, like
it was not
Cryptic.
Yeah, Cryptic was like
So
6 months ago.
For the riddle it was, but like, yeah, I mean, like it doesn't matter. Like, but like for the test packs it wasn't. But I mean, it doesn't matter. I mean, like, you know, I tend to get very anxious for some reason about very high prices on new TCGs.
Was it maybe because you got burned a little bit in your past?
I don't know what you're referencing.
maybe you need to go see Carol.
Facts. Like
he cried.
Like
he cried
what
on
I
the
would
phone
tell
with me today.
people is that like, you know, and I mean this for all these games. You don't need to spend $10,000 on a sample card to enjoy sorcery.
No.
In the slightest. If you want to play sorcery, there will be boxes available on release day and Kickstarter release day. There'll be secondary prices, but I mean, like, listen, I just bought a huge high end collection of Cryptic, and I suspect that will be the last time I ever buy a huge high end collection. I thought about it after the fact. It's just like
the risk is massive.
The risk is massive
for any game.
Like one game has lasted 30 years. 2 games have lasted 25 years. Like the idea that these games will last 15 years is like not there. I mean, like, you know, a lot of these games have been around for years and years and years, and everything is still worthless.
Yeah. Look at you, Force of Will.
Yeah, I mean, Force of Will like has a ton of players.
Yeah. Has
been around for a very long time and has less value than almost all these new indie TCGs.
Right.
I mean, like what I would say this is like, I tend to think high prices are very good for a small number of people. But like my message to sorcery fans is that like, you don't need to worry about this. Let the fat cats make or lose their money and don't sweat it. If you want to give the game a try, go buy a booster box, crack it
100%.
and play it and see if you like it.
100% agree.
I will say, like, if you like board games, you will likely like sorcery. If you don't like board games, listen, man, God bless. Like, I think like
there's still a trading card game element to sorcery.
But, like, man, this felt like a board game to make. Like in the back, like, keep in mind,
I agree.
I say this as somebody who much prefers board games to TCGs.
Yeah,
I much prefer board games to TCGs. TCGs suck.
Wild take on a TCG podcast.
If you don't like, board games are better. Don't at me. So like, if you want to play sorcery, don't worry about this segment at all. Go buy a box, go play the game when it comes out.
Yep.
The much bigger news that Louis didn't mention is that they actually printed their cards and they're getting ready. Now they're being cut.
We talked about that last week. So
I
didn't. Yes, we literally did. Just because you don't remember doesn't mean that it didn't happen.
George, it's been a long week. It's been a long week, baby.
Like,
that true?
Yes, it is.
Damn it.
So this is only a concern if the products to play.
I want to hear your thoughts, Josh. Go ahead.
The booster box and the regular cards start to skyrocket in price. Then I think you have an issue because you can't get players in. But when test cards and sample cards are trading hands amongst fat cats, I think
whatever idiots want to do.
Yeah.
So I think this is it has, in my opinion, 2 things. I've talked to a couple people, not the person who purchased this one, but a couple people who have purchased high-end sorcery samples over the last couple weeks, because I was very interested in this as somebody who does own some sample cards. I'm just curious on what is the end game of somebody who spends $4,000 to $10,000 on a sorcery card, sample card. And almost everyone's response that I've talked to has been, I have zero intentions of ever selling this card. I love the artist because of their connection to Magic the Gathering Alpha. And I think that's a wild and interesting take.
It's a wild reason to spend $4,000.
Well, they are also people who buy, like, and this is happening in the Discord community too. They are the amount of money they spend on paintings, like artwork, like the artwork from these artists is crazy too. And I think it has a lot to do with that. Like, I'm not familiar with that world of like caring about art in a deep way and having like a connection like that, but that is their conversation in the Discord server that I kind of just lurk in all the time. it is all connection to the art. It's connection to the artists who have artwork in, Magic's alpha set, and they have 30-year connections to the game. Everything that I've ever said about Pokemon kind of loses its effect here, where like I talk about the future of the game matters because like the demographic is younger. Like this demographic is old. Like they were around for alpha Magic. That was special to them. They have met the artists. They have relationships with the artists of these cards. They have autographs and alpha autographs of these cards and alters from these artists. Like it's just an interesting world, and that's where in my opinion, the purchase of a card like this is that the number of these that exist, nobody really knows the exact number, but everybody knows they're super, super limited. So this is the opportunity to have this artist's sample card with this artwork that I really like, and they're willing to pay any amount of money basically for that. So that is the explanation that I've gotten. Again, I would never spend $10,000 on any card. I had to trade for my Charizard.
That's a
I
world
made the mistake once, and I will not make the mistake again, George.
That's a world I don't live in. I flashed every dollar I owned from my bank account in a bit earlier in this segment. I don't have sweet bubblegum art hanging behind me. I'll lean on you for this one, George. I don't exist in that universe.
No, I mean, like, I don't want to get into too much because I think these sales annoy me more than anything else, to be honest, at this point. But like,
there's a lot of that this podcast.
It is, but like nobody ever says I bought this to flip it. Everybody always says, no, they're gonna bury it with me.
I know.
And then when the market goes down, it's I have an idea. Let's go to Whatnot and do box openings, and this will be a giveaway if you get the big prize. I mean, like, like nobody ever says I'm gonna buy this to flip it. Dude, you'll bury it with me. No, you won't. You won't. Most likely, you won't. And like again, I don't care about the sale. Congrats to the seller, not so much the buyer. But like, congrats to the seller. You did good. Congrats to Sorcery. This is obviously good news for Sorcery. If it doesn't affect box prices.
Yeah, and that's so.
And I don't think it will, because there's no reason for it to.
Yeah. So box prices right now are sitting around. There's a couple boxes on the market around $350.
That seems high to me.
I think that still comes down. And I've said for a long time, I still think it's a success if box prices are at MSRP on release. Like if it comes all the way down to that, like I still think it's a success. I think that's great. I actually think like there's it's crazy the number of people I see that are, when boxes do go for sale, the number of PMs and stuff. Yeah. I don't know what's happening behind those closed doors on those PMs. Like I don't know if the people are buying
a lot of weird PM stuff.
Yeah. But
what I would say is like, here's what a success looks like for Sorcery. People want to buy the next wave, and people want the next box.
I agree.
Like if people want the next wave, if people want the next box, you have a hit.
Yeah.
Like that's all that matters. And I'll say like, I'll give another big shout out to Mike from Mean Mugging Games. Like what?
We like Mike.
Louis will pin.
No, I was waiting
channel.
for you to say
Louis will pin his channel.
I was waiting for that.
To the section.
Listen, I'll pin Mike any day.
I was waiting for that.
Yep.
And wow. And like he did a great job of selling the game, not through telling me that a card is $10,000.
Right.
Not to saying, hold on to your butts because I'm going to see you bozos on Mars. By saying, let me play the game with you and let me see if you like it.
Yeah.
And then Simon and Eric did a great job of being like, this was the thought process behind some of these gaming decisions. This sale is impressive and wholly irrelevant to me because like at the end of the day, Mike showed me a game that I liked way more than I thought I would.
Yeah.
And that's all that matters.
Yeah. And also like one person, this is another thing we've kind of learned. Like one person can't prop up a market forever.
No,
I mean, like,
and that's exactly what happened in some of these other new TCGs. You had two fat cat whales.
Table TCG.
You had two fat cat whales saying, 2 to 10 fat cat whales saying, "I'll buy everything in the universe." This card will never go below this price. Well, now it all has. Like now it's all crumbled and it's crumbling. Yeah. And I mean, like that happens. Like this, like that's what it means to be an indie TCG. So like at the end of the day, like.
Or Magic. and Amazon. Jeff and
Yeah.
Keith.
Or a mom and pop game store.
Yeah, I mean,
It's all regression to the mean.
I mean, like, just like if you want to try the game, buy a box, not at $350,
I wouldn't even
play the game and see if you like it. Or call Mike and Mike will show you the game.
Don't they have the test decks and stuff?
This is what I would do. If you want to play the game, wait till the set comes out. Ask people if they have uncommons, commons, whatever, that they'll just send you for free to 3 weeks. Because everyone's going to be chasing foils and all that stuff. Get yourself some free cards and test the game out and play it. Use the print and play. What are we talking about? Go get Tabletop Simulator and play in a big event that's coming up. They're doing.
Listen, Magic can survive your proxy take. Indie TCGs cannot survive your proxy.
They have a print and play.
I know, but when the real cards come out, we need people to play the game with the real cards.
They're also promoting a Tabletop Simulator event that starts next month. It's a huge Tabletop
the real
Simulator
cards
event.
aren't here yet.
Shout out to Mean Mugging Games. I'll leave the pin in the comment section, Mike. If you send it in the comments, I'll pin your advertisement for your.
I'll pin you, Mike.
Yeah, I'll pin
Mike. I'll pin Mike any day.
Mike's hair looks amazing.
Yeah. Okay, that's enough on sorcery. Let's finish up with.
You can cut it off. That's enough on sorcery.
Yeah. Wow. I'm sorry, Mike. I like your hair.
Let's finish up with the podcast with Cryptic Delays.
Hold on, before we get there, big shout out to Jordan Scheming Skeleton for hitting his 800 subscribers. Louis will also pin your comment right below.
You can only pin one thing.
You can only pin one comment, baby.
Yeah.
Damn it! Sorry, Jordan. I tried, baby. You guys can all go sub to Scheming Skeleton though.
Well, maybe we'll just do like a whole.
How do you not pump my channel? I'm your co-host.
You do enough. You do enough pumping. Hey, Louis. Speaking of pumping,
we're not talking about this.
I'm building a deck. I need some singles. Where can I go?
Oh. I'll pin this in the comment section too. CaptainsMarket.com for cryptic singles. Cryptic boxes are getting delayed for wave 2. You're going to need singles. Go pick up your singles. No. So let's start off by saying this.
God, I guess pump all of you bozos. You're welcome, all of you.
And while we're pumping, Jake and Joel or Magic gave us a shout out because they're big fans of ours. So speaking,
they gave us a shout out like in a video.
Yeah. No, not a video. Sorry, it was a call.
It was a what?
Sorry, dude. It wasn't a video. It wasn't a call.
So excited.
Like, sorry, bro. They said they watched the podcast. They like us all except you two.
When did they say that?
What's so excited?
What was the context?
I'm just conveying the message.
Are you personal friends with Jake and Joel?
No. They hosted a cool thing where they were talking about kind of their YouTube growth, and I joined the webinar and just had a chance to chat with them. So it was very nice.
A webinar.
Was
this in 1930? What is a webinar? Did they
I'm gonna let you break down that burn for us.
Listen, if Jake and Joel want to comment with their webinar link, we'll also pin that to the comment section.
I'm in.
Wait,
do it.
Did they promote it as a webinar?
No, they offered.
That's your words. That's got to be your words.
Yes,
wow.
It was a Discord group call where they were giving advice on channel growth, and we were answering questions and looking.
Okay, there's a major difference in communication from Discord group call and webinar.
But it was done as a presentation where they were the presenters and they invited people to speak, which actually follows the structure of a webinar.
That's great. I just want to make sure people know that Jake and Joel or Magic are not advertising a webinar, because that would make them feel like they're old.
This is a weird thing for you to take.
God, this is amazing.
This is
my favorite part of the podcast.
I want to know. I'm against webinars. I'm just there.
That's a great take. I'm in. That's your best take of the podcast.
Zoom you know what? And webinars. I'm not.
You know what? They don't say any of this. They just like my channel. So thanks. Moving on.
I was on one of their live streams. They were talking about us too because I joined the live stream. So anyway, Jake and Joel,
you smell.
Love your channel. I think that
I've never seen your channel.
You are.
We were just pumping everyone. We were pumping everyone's bags.
I love how the last topic on our podcast every time we never talk about it until like the end, and it's just like it sits here for forever. So cryptic.
I like your head, Josh.
My understanding is that they have delayed wave 2 until February.
That's what Distro is saying. I mean, listen, I will give them. Oh, look at this! I gave sorcery advice. I gave to cryptic. Now I'm giving cryptic the advice I gave to sorcery. Nobody will care if your box is delayed 15 days, 45 days, 90 days. all they will remember is if the box was good.
Yeah.
Yes.
So like Tanner, big fan of the podcast, by the way. If it takes 2 months to get the box right, delay it 2 months to get the box right.
Yeah.
I would much rather have a good box with good foils and no mapping in 75 days late.
Yeah, I agree.
Than the wrong box 15 days late, or even on time, or
I think just
take
communicating what's happening is super great. That way, and I don't say this because I have some people who are pre-ordering some of the Wave 2 boxes from our website.
Which website?
CaptainsMarket.com. It'll be pinned in the comment section. But people who are pre-ordering, and if people rather pick up singles from,
CaptainsMarket.com.
A, the same website, but B, also like the community, there's tons of singles floating around. Like this is not a scenario where boxes are so ridiculously hard to get. You can get Kickstarter boxes for 150, 160 bucks right now. It's not a scenario where boxes are $800 and nobody can pick up the cards to play the game because everything's a $75 card. Rares, even noble rares are 10 to 15 bucks. Like they're not even that for some of them. The singles are cheap and it's easy to get into the game right now, even without Wave 2. Now, Wave 2 is still needed as a result of LGSs need to be able to carry this game so that they have something to sell. Right now, a new LGS, if they wanted to pick up the game to carry it, they would have to go to the open market and buy a $150 box to try to sell their customer for $180, something like that. And so by having boxes available at distribution, it's a huge success. But for the rest of the community right now, if you're interested in getting the game, pick up some singles.
CaptainsMarket.com.
That would be great. If you want to pick them up for me, that's awesome. But also just ask around in the Discord servers. People will send you cards. I'm doing on my other channel, I'm opening up decks from the decks. I'm giving away the decks on my other channel.
I have a question. Will you pin your other channels in the comments below?
That's too many things to fit in the comment section, but sure. Yeah, I will.
All the comment section this week is going to be just us and people we mention on the podcast.
Yeah. So anyway, not a big deal for the delay. I think people just need to know about it. Again, if you're waiting on Wave 2, you may want to go ahead and pick up a Wave 1 box or pick up the singles you need, whatever you need to do.
I think you made a good point too, that it's readily available. That's the big thing where this doesn't matter. And that's what makes George's take work, right? The fact that the product is out there, it's relatively affordable, and there is, and this is not pumping your bags, but there is places you can get singles, whether it's website, Discord, whatever it is. There's places you can find to build these decks, right? And to get these cards and play the game. So because of that, not a big deal. George, your take was great. In my opinion, your take was great.
Always.
Rare.
I mean, like, boxes aren't $300, $500. They're $130, $150 bucks. Like, they're fine. And so, like, like everything but like Brass Man is frankly pretty attainable at a reasonable price. Brass Man's a little hard in foil, but like, just don't foil out your deck, and that's not a problem.
The Brass Man of Alabama.
Cool. Anything else we need to talk about?
I think that's the end. What's summarize 2023 for us? This is the last podcast of the year.
Summarize 2023.
2022. Summarize 2022 for it. Well, I live in the future.
Louis changes his channel and learns he hates magic.
That's not fair.
That's
exactly fair. That's absolutely fair.
Louis changed his channel and wished it was cryptic.
Yes.
George's summary of 2022 being all about me makes a lot of sense to me.
That's true.
Are you saying that you carry George?
Yeah. You're welcome,
Ladies
George.
and gentlemen, you have
You're
it
welcome
here.
for carrying your
Let's
entire
go.
year. Your
Let's
entire
go.
year. Yeah. You're welcome.
I was going to say, I appreciate you, bozos, and thanks for having me on. I enjoyed kind of learning who you guys are in the last half of the year. And I think I'm out after this because I don't know how much more I can handle.
Your contract's over. So, like,
Season 3. Season 3.
God.
Season 3.
Does somebody want to sit in this chair? Please.
That's the dumbass season thing you did this year. That was the dumbest.
That season thing was great.
It was not a year. It was a transition of the podcast. It was to let people know.
And a week season.
That we have.
I like the season thing.
We have evolved from the previous into this. My summary for 2022 would be. Let's move on.
See my previous summary. My previous summary.
That speaks to me at an emotional level right
2022
now.
was
Let's move on.
An awful. I'm trying to make sure that none of my kids were born in 2022. They weren't. 2022 was an
my daughter
awful year.
was born. Stop.
It
This
was,
was the best year of my life.
Horrible, awful, atrocious, bad year, and I'm ready for it to be over.
I had a great year.
This was the year of my life. My daughter was born.
I lived in a complete and utter mess of a home.
Boat.
I lived on a boat, a sinking, flooding boat for a year. No, this year sucked. Nothing better to say. I have to say, like, the year sucked. I'm enjoying where I am. Like, I'm honored to like have a YouTube channel. Like, that stuff's good, but like personal life, it's just been
Can I give you a resolution for next year?
Don't flood.
No mass box openings.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I'm actually planning on.
All right, avoid the podcast that week, folks. We'll let you know what it is. George and I'll send out a notice.
I have a cold coming on. I don't really.
I'm also sick.
I'm opening all of my Dominaria Remastered collector boxes.
Didn't you get like 4? Like, how are you ever going to pull that off? Like, I'm going to open 2/3 of a case, you guys. Hold on to your butts.
I like the idea of moving on to new things. 2022 from a business standpoint, from a channel standpoint, was that?
Is that what the answer was supposed to be?
No,
I thought it was like life summary.
No, but for my life, this was the best year of my life. I got my daughter this year, man. Me and my wife, we got our little pumpkin this year. So I'm in the best mood ever. I love it. I appreciate you bozos and everyone watching. Thank you all so much.
He's trying so hard to end on like a really positive.
I want to listen. You don't have to be a positive guy. I'm a positive guy.
What is one thing that you hope you accomplish in your personal life in 2023? Let's go there.
Ooh, George, you first.
Personal, not business.
I want to go to Europe. We helped us start up there a couple years ago, and our trip keeps getting delayed. So we have been planning a trip to España for months, and it just never fell into place. So we are taking it this year.
Okay.
Louis? Or no, I'll go next. You get that. In my personal life, I really want to get away with my wife. We've kind of suspended trips for the last couple of years, and we've done a couple things separately. So I want us to be able to step aside and both get away this year. Mexico all inclusive sounds like the move.
Ooh,
yeah.
Jealous. My personal goal for 2023 is that I'm going to do more hobbies. I'm gonna start playing guitar again, and I'm gonna start running again. So,
no joke. If you start running, I'll run with you.
I'm gonna start running.
He's gonna run while he's eating cookie dough.
That's fine.
Cookie dough 5K.
I did a beer 5K. I'm in.
I'm waking up at 6 a.m. three days a week for at least January.
That's just called having a baby. That's just
my kids sleep.
Oh my!
That sucks for you. My kids sleep.
I have just talked to you in the morning. There is no chance you're getting up at 6 a.m.
Do you want to have TCG talks while we run and die?
Miserable. In the morning.
I'm gonna do it just to prove you wrong, George.
Great. You can call me. I'll be up.
You didn't get shape.
No, I ran a 25K trail run.
There we go.
Oh, okay. No, I'm out.
And it was like the best. It's like the best I've felt in my life, and like, yeah, I'm pretty far away from that in terms of my physical.
I got back to a 300-pound bench press this year, so I was good with that. I'm not running that many Ks. That's too many Ks.
Well, nothing's chasing me, so I'm not gonna run that hard. But like,
George, get a plane ticket.
I don't fly.
We should do a 2023 May the Zoo be with you weight loss challenge.
I'm not doing it in January. We can start in February if you want.
George is running down the Boston Trail.
We're all gonna cheat. I know you two.
I'm not going to be very clear here.
How do you cheat?
I'll be fine in February. I'll do it in February with you bozos. Don't even no. I'm not doing it in January.
Have you never been part of like a weight loss challenge at a company in corporate America? There's nickels in pockets. There's people drinking water. I know you. Okay, sorry.
I've never worked for a company.
Bad
in corporate
example.
America.
You've never had a job, so my fault.
You never given in to the man.
Okay.
I dislike you.
All right. Anybody, if you're still watching, you can join our weight loss challenge.
Called your viewers fat.
No, you don't have to be fat to lose weight. All right. This is it. This is the end of the podcast. You've made it, everyone. Congratulations. Give yourself a high five.
You're a really thin person who wants to lose weight. Call Louie.
You have made it to the end of the podcast, the last 10 seconds of our podcast for 2022. Thank you so much for being here. Remember to be kind to the people around you, and may the zoo be with you.
And Happy New Year.
And Happy New Year.